What annoys you most about celebrities, and why? The consequences rarely fit the crimes they commit. Committing murder and having nothing happen to you because you're rich enough to avoid jail, and there's men in prison for 10 plus years for weed dust. Privilege literally means private law. It's one set of rules for the rich and famous and a different set for the rest of us. Fines are just the cost of doing whatever you want. Peasants and nobles never stopped existing. Wait, hear me out. When you really think about it, celebrities are the jesters. Their job is to entertain the kings. So basically they are welcome at court and are able to live a life of privilege in the castle, but when they aren't entertaining enough for the king anymore, they become easily replaceable. So that means celebrities are just another pawn for the super rich people. But since those super rich people own companies that rely on the labor of the masses, their job is to also distract the peasants from the shitty lives we are living. So to us peasants, we see that the celebrities are living in the castle and we just assume they're the kings because of the lavish lifestyle they're living. But that just means they're doing their job and deflecting the attention away from the money-hungry rich people that hoard away their money, while also hiring part-time workers that work full-time hours to avoid giving them benefits. What's even funnier is that you know it's true because we're having an entire conversation about celebrities, asking what annoys you most about celebrities. Thank you for coming to my high-af TED Talk. Like how when a celebrity is caught with drugs it's a scandal, but when a normal person does it, it's 2 years in jail and 5 years probation. This should be higher up. Someone start a running list of all the celebrities that have killed someone, accidental or otherwise, and face no jail time. Caitlyn Jenner. Wait, what happened? She ran someone over with her car. Edit. You're not clever for saying he or referencing her gender in any way. It affects your life literally not at all and has nothing to do with the core of the subject, which is celebrities getting away with reckless and harmful behavior. Buckle up, buckaroo. VROOM. Crunch. Celebrities who were born into families that are already established in the industry need to be more honest with themselves and the world that they were able to make it big because of their last names. It's not their fault that they were born into the family that they were, but it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And nepotism has played a big part on how a lot of them have made it big. Sure, they still have to put in some work, but it's less than some random person from a regular family would have to. I think Jamie Lee Curtis was one of very few actors that I heard of that has acknowledged that most of her success comes from the fact that her parents were Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis. I was surprised when I found out Nick Cage is a Coppola as an Uncle Francis Ford, but didn't want to cash in on the name. It's amazing how many famous people are actually related and or connected to the industry. It really is all about who you know. The ones that change their names almost piss me off more, because you bet your ass they're using those connections, but want us regular folk to think they made it on their own talent and hard work. Blah blah blah. I agree, like good job dropping the name, but you didn't exactly remake your identity and start from the ground up. You started on a higher level with lots of helping hands along the way than most actors will ever get. There's a lot, but something recently just happened that made me furious. Ellen and her show is being investigated by their network for having a toxic work environment. Something that former and current employees are coming forward with. Celebrities are now hashtagging #ISTANDBYELLEN to show her support, and some like Katy Perry and Ashton Kutcher are saying, I have always been treated with respect by Ellen. She has showed me nothing but kindness. She's a great person. Ricky Gervais was right when he said these celebrities are so out of touch with the real world. Of course she'd treat her famous guests nicely, because if she was rude they wouldn't come back, and she wouldn't have a show anymore. It would just be her sitting in a couch and being a bitch to everyone. Rachel Bloom had a great take on this. Just wanna say that I have both worked behind the scenes of TV shows and been the celebrity guest on them, and the two experiences are very different. Having a good time being a guest does not necessarily have anything to do with the experiences of the employees. The fact that this had to be said like it wasn't already obvious is ridiculous. She doesn't even treat her celebrity guests well either. She almost made Taylor Swift break down on camera by consistently asking about her romantic past, even when she told Ellen to stop. Started a fight with Dakota Johnson saying she wasn't invited to Johnson's Christmas party when she had been, and turned her down after complaining the year before for not being invited, even though Johnson didn't even know she wanted to come, and most famously forced Mariah Carey to confirm her pregnancy by making her drink just weeks before she miscarried. She's also mad degrading to minority guests, like refusing to pronounce Hasan Minhaj's name correctly, forcing Sai to do his Gangnam style dance, and always asking invasive questions to pop guests she has on. If they commit a crime, they are less likely to get as long of a sentence as a non-celebrity, especially rappers. I love rap, but a rapper can shoot up a children's hospital and be out on bail in 2 weeks. A rapper could rape an orphanage, and Twitter would be blowing up with a hashtag saying yo hash free can I. What happened to him was fucked up. More than annoyance, but the environment is a breeding ground for sexual grooming, pedophilia, sexual assault, etc. And many are part of it, or turn a blind eye to it. Their wealth and status separates them from most of society, and they are not held as accountable as non-celebrities. They also grandstand and make shows of caring by telling us, the common people, how we ought to treat each other and care for one another, but rarely do they give from their own personal coffers, and if they do, most ensure it's a visible act. It ends up being about them more than the people they are trying to help. We should be caring for one another even if never documented or offered up to the masses for recognition and praise. Yep. This times a million. One of the most jaw-dropping things I've ever seen was when Corey Feldman was on a talk show and started discussing the rampant pedophilia and sexual abuse in Hollywood, which he and another actor/friend of his named Corey Haim were both victims of. Barbara Walters literally cut him off and essentially chastised him for making Hollywood look bad. I think her exact words were, "You're damaging an entire industry." He was like, "No, I'm not. I'm telling people what happens to kids in Hollywood. That they are given more weight to their words than experts or scientists." This doesn't annoy me about celebrities. What's annoying is the culture that facilitates it. This gets to the real issue. Celebrities are people who are entitled to their opinions like everyone else. The real problem is the media and culture who then elevate those voices. Taylor Swift isn't holding a gun to BuzzFeed's head to share a quote of hers, but BuzzFeed will still share it and call her queen for her generically good statement. Reddit is no better. We are the ones upvoting every story about a celebrity donating money or doing something basic that your neighbor, the mailman, is also doing without getting the attention. Again, the celebrity donating or speaking out isn't necessarily the issue. It's a good thing they are doing that. It's sus acting, like they are the second coming of Gandhi for donating the equivalent of me giving $50 or Malcolm X speaking truth to power because they attended a protest along with 100,000 other people. Looking at you, Jenny McCarthy. Gwyneth Paltrow wants to know your location so she can shove a jade egg up in you. Doctors have talked about how unsanitary that is, and still people are somehow all over it. FYI, jade is a porous stone, which makes it really difficult to properly sanitize and will harbor bacteria. The news articles, man. LeBron James first one to use stadium's new toilet. Stupid shit like that drives me insane, and there's billions of those shitty articles, lol. Kylie Jenner, brave for taking off fake lashes and hair extensions. She's a self-made gazillionaire. If you ignore all the family money, You also have to ignore all the poor morons who donated money to her to help push her over that one B mark. They are given so much free stuff, but have the money to pay for it. Kendall Jenner back quote, I tried stealing these designer trousers off set, but they caught me. The designer found out and sent them to me anyway. Wait, are you serious? Yeah, 100%. She brags about it on her Vogue wardrobe tour vid. Fuck that fuck. That fuck that fuck that. I raise your fuck. That with a fuck that shit. I used to work at the BBC and the majority of them, either intentionally or unintentionally, were absolute assholes. Simple stuff like getting up, walking across the room to get water is something they expect other people to do for them. Chasing across the country in the pouring rain to deliver something to someone's house in the middle of nowhere because they wouldn't wait 30 seconds for a script, then screaming abuse at them when, by a miracle, they actually find your huge country house in the rain and dark that doesn't have a name or a number. I'm looking at you, David Frost, you massive cunt. Or calling the police because they ring on your door to deliver something they were expecting. I won't name that one as they are still alive. So many of them with petty expectations or just plain rudeness. Paula Yates, may she rot in hell, I think was the absolute worst one of an overall very bad bunch. Don't get me wrong, some of them were lovely people. Kate Aid was extraordinarily nice, letting me wait in her London pad and insisting I had some sherry, but there were a distinct minority. David Bowie was also very nice. TLDR, what annoys me most about most celebrities is they are arrogant and fucking rude.